Hey everybody, Adam here. This video is going to be on a blog configuration, and what I mean by that is I'm going to take you through sort of the steps that I do with any new blog before I get started and really sort of invest time into it. I'll show you the specific configurations I use as well as some of the plugins that I use to sort of get started. Now there are a ton of plugins and a ton of functionality on top of what I'm going to show you that I just, I don't have the time to show you or isn't quite necessary to get started. There are a few things you're going to want to do to sort of baseline your blog and to make sure you start in the right spot. But you're going to learn a ton as you go along. That's going to include a lot of different plugins that do sort of different things that you're looking to do as you go. But this video focuses on sort of the essentials that I recommend and that I always do before I start a blog. So the first thing we're going to do, we're on our website here, adamsnewblog.com. We're going to log in just sort of the same way that I showed in the last video. Click on login under meta, or you're going to type in the /wp-login.php at the top. So we're going to log in with the username and password, and if you change the password while following along, your password will be updated as well. And the first thing we're going to do is look under settings. So let's click on settings at the very bottom, and actually I'm just going to open up the website in a new tab again so that we can follow along with any changes that we make. Now for the most part, the general settings we already touched on in the overview. We have the site title and the tagline. That looks good. Sort of skimming through here, everything on the default is fine. If you wanted to change your time zone, you certainly can. I'm just going to leave it. That's fine. You don't need membership. You don't need people to be signing up in your blog. And yeah, the default looks good, so we don't even need to click Save Changes there. Everything looks fine. Let's click on Writing. And here we're going to leave everything the same as well. This on default is fine. If you wanted to change the default post category, you could in here. But really, you could just rename this one if you wanted to. Yeah, all the default in here is fine. Again, don't need to click Save Changes. They're fine. Under Reading, let's click Reading. And this is the one that we will make just a small change to. Now, as you can see on the blog, this says blog pages show at most 10 posts. So what that means, right now we only have 3 posts on our site. So we have 3 posts. So if we change this number, let's change this to 2. Click Save Changes just to show you. Refresh this. So you'll notice only 2 posts are now on the home page, and you'll have an older entries here. Now what I like to do, 2 posts is too little depending on sort of the size of your posts. What I find a good number is about 5. 10 posts can be a little overwhelming, especially if you use full text. If you have sort of the entire post displayed on your homepage, it can be a little overwhelming, and it can be a lot to scroll through if you have sort of 10 full posts on the homepage. So I like that number around 5, and again, that'll depend on sort of what your posts are all about. If they're huge, long posts with a lot of great content and images and just a lot of information to take in, you might want on the shorter end of that. You might want 2 or 3 or 4 posts on the homepage. I like, to have 5. That's just sort of a rule of thumb, but it really depends on the site. You can always come back and change this later on as well. Now, I do like full text on the homepage. Now, you'll notice that these are actually, it's hard to tell whether or not they're full text or they're excerpts or snippets. So we're going to show you sort of how to verify that. Most of the time that setting will be right here, but it could be under the theme settings. So we'll touch that after we get through this. Search engine visibility, make sure this is just as it is, unchecked. We do not want to discourage search engines from indexing the site. Obviously, we want search engines to crawl it, to index us, to sort of send traffic our way. So whatever you do, make sure that's not checked off. Let's click on Save Changes. And click on Discussion. And this is basically just all of the comments back and forth. people that comment on a post and are engaged from your readership and your community. I normally leave this all default. There are a couple of ones I'll highlight. This one in particular, or these two in particular, email me whenever anyone posts a comment, and a comment is held for moderation. You might want to uncheck those depending on how popular your blog is, because if you get dozens of comments every day on your posts, then that's a lot of emails to sort through, and that can get a little overwhelming. So what I normally do in my more popular blogs, I uncheck that eventually. But in the beginning, I leave it checked so I can sort of see when those comments are coming in, and so I don't miss them in the beginning. In a more established blog, I have this, set up so that every day I check for comments and reply. But in the beginning, you're not really thinking about replying to comments because you're so focused on, on promotion on your own content. So leave those checked off for the time being. You can always uncheck them if things get too busy and too much email. But that's pretty much it for discussion. I always leave this show avatars checked. Mystery Man is fine. Yeah, so then I click on Save Changes here. And then I don't touch media. You can click on it to show you, but this is just a little confusing and you don't want to mess with any defaults here. So let's just leave media alone. Permalinks, definitely need to change this. Now, by default, they'll be set up in a variety of ways. They could be set up by a custom structure based on your theme. The normal one, the default out of the box, is the month and day and month. So let's just show you what this will look like. So say if we had day and month in here and we're in the awesome skydiving video, you'll notice along the top it has 2013 and 0530. So basically this post was published on May 30th, 2013. The issue with that is if this post is about something that is timeless and evergreen, so say I wrote a post on some things to consider when camping, or some great things to take along with you when camping. Well, regardless of whether it's 2013 or 2015, that post is still relevant, and that probably would still make sense. Now, the issue with that is when people find your post, if they're looking for camping gear or camping stuff, and they find your URL in Google, if they're searching and it happens to be 2015 and this post is 2 years old, they see your link has a 2013 in it, and they're probably less likely to click through because they think in their mind that it's out of date and it's old. The biggest problem with that, even if you come back to update it, so say there's a new camping gadget, a new set of whatever that you purchased for camping, if you come back and update your post later on, this URL doesn't change. So even though you keep the post updated, it's still going to show the old date, and it's still going to show it sort of as a stale post. So definitely don't want the date in the URL. The one I use always is post name. It's just that simple. It's just the domain.com or .whatever / the name. So click on Save Changes. Make sure post name's checked. Save Changes. Let's refresh this post. And again, you'll see, nothing there because that one's gone. Awesome skydiving video now has just / awesome skydiving video. Much more sort of friendly, much more pretty, much more specific as to what exactly it is, and especially for an awesome skydiving video, certainly doesn't matter when the skydiving video was published. So that's just really important that you get the permalinks set up properly in the beginning, because it can be a little bit of a hassle to change them later on. And if you have an established blog that's set up with the day and month, it can be quite tricky. You'll need to sort of deal with redirects so that you don't lose traffic, and it gets a little confusing. So just setting that up the right way from the beginning can save you a lot of time and hassle. So make sure, I'm not sure, did we save changes? Save changes again there. And that's it for the settings. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is plugins. And actually, before we jump into plugins, let me go back and see if these are excerpts or snippets, or if they're full length. And there's depending on the theme you have, you're going to have theme options. Now here, the Bueno theme has theme options right here in the left column. Depending on the theme, it might be under Appearances and then Theme Options. We don't have that here, so we're just going to go to the normal theme options. And if we scroll to the bottom here, you'll notice Post Content right now has the excerpt. And I actually want the full content, so I'm going to change that. And you'll notice that this option obviously overrides the setting that was under the settings and reading, because that said full content in there, but this must override that. So we'll change that and then just refresh the blog. And now, now we can see the actual full content on the home page as well. And this is the way I really like setting it up. And this is why, you only want 4 or 5, maybe even 3 posts to appear on your homepage, depending on how large they are, because once you have the full content, it can be a lot more to scroll through. But yeah, so I like the full content in the homepage, and so that's sometimes under your theme options, but most of the time under settings and reading. And let's jump into plugins. Now there are just a couple of plugins that I have sort of as a base install on every installation. The first one is the Google Analytics for WordPress. I always install that. I always set up a Google Analytics account from day one. And the reason for that is just I like to know where my traffic's coming from. Whether it's organic and search traffic, I'd like to be able to tell right away, okay, I'm getting some good search traffic from Google or from Bing. Or maybe it's traffic from Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter. I'd like to be able to see, hey, those efforts, and we'll talk a little bit more about sort of promotion and marketing of your blog in the next sort of couple of sections. But I like to know that, what's working, what's not, how are people finding me. Google Analytics for WordPress, the best plugin to do that. And again, if you click on settings here, just a quick overview, all you need to do is enter your UA code here. Or when you initially set it up, you have the ability to connect it with your Google account and simply choose the account you want to track. All the default settings are fine. I'm not going to go into the advanced settings. You can get, you can do some pretty fancy stuff with this, especially if you run an e-commerce site or what have you. But I think this is fine for now. Let's go back to plugins. Another plugin that I always use is called WordPress SEO. So let's add new. Now this is the #1 SEO plugin for WordPress. It's actually developed by the same person. If you notice, the author is the same person who did the Google Analytics one. So let's install WordPress SEO by Yoast. Click OK. And we can activate this plugin. And basically what this plugin will do is lets us set up templates and easily manage, you can allow tracking, easily manage all of the SEO for the website. So all of the titles, all of the meta descriptions, right? Keeps track of things like broken links, and just it does everything you could think about for SEO. What I start with is making sure the titles and the meta descriptions are unique, but we'll go into sort of taking this a step further within a post as well. So if we hover over SEO, you'll notice that there's a new SEO thing here in the left column. Let's click on that and bring us to the dashboard. You can close out of this. This all looks good. Don't change anything here. The one thing we're going to focus on is titles and metas. So here we're going to look at sort of setting up the titles and the meta information and sort of the default templates, and then we're able to go more specific and change each specific post and page if we want to. I'm just going to quickly show you like the home. So right now the title template for the home is the site name, the page, a separator, and a site description. So let's just save that as it is. We don't need to touch it, and just refresh to show you what that looks like. So it's pretty simple. It's Adam's Adventure Blog -- follow along with me on my latest adventures. Not a bad home title, right? That makes sense. It's a very generic. It's exactly what I do. It's taking that right from this title and this tagline, and so that's what's appearing at the top of the title. And if we search in Google for say Adam's new blog, now I'm not gonna, oh, I am gonna find my new blog. So okay, so there's my blog there. Obviously this this title hasn't updated because this must have been when I first installed it and we first set it up. But you'll see this title here, Adam's new blog, just another WordPress site, will eventually update to Adam's adventure blog. Follow along with me on my latest adventures. So quite interesting. Make sure it catches some attention and that it interests the readers. What I like to do is completely remove all of this and just enter the title for the homepage. Because really you don't need a template for the homepage. The homepage is just one page, so we might as well just enter the title right in there. So let's call it Adam's Adventure Blog. Awesome Adventures Online or something. So you can enter whatever title in there. I like to just enter the full title in there. You can enter the exact same thing here, or you can just leave it. I normally enter something and then I enter a meta description which says this, or welcome to Adam's Adventure Blog. If you are looking to read about some intense adventures, or click here for more information and excitement. Something like that. Once you have that, click Save Settings. And then we can refresh this, and you'll notice my title changed a little. And the meta description is this section right here. See where this says 1 day ago. Hi everyone, thank you for visiting my blog. That will all change now to the proper meta description. So that's really important. It's also something that you want to be engaging and to get people to to click on. That's why I actually specifically said, click here for more information and excitement. So it makes people want to sort of click a little bit more. So now we're going to do post types, and this includes posts, pages, and really the only thing we're worried about will be posts and pages on this page. And basically, you just want the title, page, separator, and site name. So what I normally do, and let's click on one awesome skydiving video. Let's save this so that we can see just how it is. Refresh. So right now the title is Awesome Skydiving Video - Adam's Adventure Blog. Well, you know what? I don't want Adam's Adventure Blog to appear as on all of my titles. And the reason for this is we only get about 60 to 70 characters for your title that actually appears in the search engine. So you can see this title got cut off here, and we have 3 dots at the bottom, or 3 dots to the side. Same with this one. So those titles were a little too long to display them all. What I like to do is try to get your entire title within that length. So in that case, I'm going to remove the site name and the separator from this. Okay, and I'm going to do that for the pages as well. And in fact, I'm going to do it for them all. Okay, and then I'm going to click on Save Settings. Go back to post types. I'm going to refresh the post, and we'll see now it's just Awesome Skydiving Video. And that's exactly what I want, because then I'm able to customize that post title further, and I'll show you that in a second. Another thing, we're going to do the same thing on taxonomies, and most important here will just be tags and categories. We're going to do the same thing, just remove the separator and site name. The sep and site name. And so these are just, we'll do it here for format too. These are just templates. Save settings here. So if we go back to post types, you'll notice the title and page. So title is just the title of the post, and the page is the page number if the post were to sort of be separated over multiple pages. It would say the title and then page 1, page 2, page 3. In our cases, and probably in your case as well, it'll all be just on one page, so you won't have to worry about anything there. But let's take this a step further and let's edit that post. So this is basically all you need to do as far as titles and meta go. But let's jump quickly into that post so I can show you awesome skydiving video and show you the plugin quickly. So you'll see snippet preview here. This is what it's going to look like in Google. Okay. So what we want to do is give it a title. And so you can give it a title here. By default, it's going to be awesome skydiving video. We'll call it awesome skydiving video, and then set some sort of separator ourselves, and then best skydiving. Oh, let's capitalize this, keep it consistent. Video on the internet. And so now, you know, it's more than just awesome skydiving video, Adam's adventure blog. Now we capture people looking for not only an awesome skydiving video, but also the best skydiving video. So it's just another keyword in there. It better describes what the video is, more than having Adam's adventure blog. And then here in the meta description, we can enter whatever we want. Hey everyone, check out this amazing skydiving video that I found. Click here to watch the video and be amazed. And so this will show up. You can see the snippet preview. This will show up in Google in the description right here, like we talked about. And if you want to take this a step further, you can put in a focus keyword. I'm not going to get into that right now, but if you want to put in a focus keyword, you can, and it'll give you a rating as to how strong or how good your post is optimized for that keyword. But this is basically what I do. I put every post I write, after I write it, I come down here, I give it an SEO title and a meta description, and then I just click on update post to the side, and then I'm going to refresh this, and you'll notice this overrides the settings or the templates, and so now it's awesome skydiving video, best skydiving video on the internet, and the meta description is updated as well. So let's quickly go back to the WordPress SEO. You can tell probably already, pretty powerful plugin. The other important thing I'm going to show you is the XML sitemaps. Now you're going to want to submit one of these to Google. Now this will take care of generating it for you. The only thing you need to do here, everything is set up fine. You just need to save settings. For whatever reason, the settings tab or this doesn't work. If you view this, it's 404'd. It does not work for whatever reason. By default, all you need to do is click Save Settings. So once that's done, you'll be able to refresh this, and now you'll see a proper sitemap. And yeah, so sitemaps is just really important to have for search engine optimization, for search engines in general. It basically gives the search engines a list of all of your pages and all of the pages that you want indexed. So this will update on the fly. When you publish a new post, it'll publish automatically to your sitemap. Now that's pretty much it. Let's just see internal links. No, permalinks. No, we already did this under the general permalinks. So that's it for WordPress SEO. Let's go back to plugins, and I'll show you one more plugin that I normally do. Actually, I don't need to use this plugin anymore. If we go to SEO and to permalinks, this check button here. So SEO and permalinks, strip the category base from the category URL. So let me show you what that means. If we click on, say, skydiving, you'll notice at the top in the address bar it says adamsnewblog.com/category/skydiving. To me, that's a little redundant. It's a little too long. I don't see a reason why it needs to say category. You know, if I just had adamsnewblog.com/skydiving, I feel like that would be enough to distinguish that is about skydiving. It doesn't need the category sort of tag there, the category wording there. So I'm going to click on the top one under SEO and permalinks, strip the category base from the category URL. We're going to save settings here, and then we're going to go back to the home page, click through to skydiving, and you'll notice now there is no category. Now it's just Adam's new blog / skydiving. Oh, and if we can... Oh, so okay, this for some reason this isn't working. And this is probably why I use a plugin. So let's uncheck that, save settings. Sorry for the confusion. I'm going to use a plugin to do this. We're going to go back to plugins and then add new, and it's called WP No Category. It's WP No Category Base. We're going to install that. Okay. And then we'll activate this plugin as well. And all you need to do is activate it. There's no settings to do. There's no anything. So we're going to go back to the home page. And now when we click on the skydiving at the top, we should actually see the video. Yeah. So that's why I use the separate plugin for that. Again, it was called WP No Category Base, and that's what will properly strip the sort of the category listing there. So now when you click on skydiving, you'll see all the videos that are tagged, or sorry, that are in the category skydiving, or in the skydiving category. Really, that's pretty much all there is to sort of setting up a baseline blog. You know, there's a lot of things you can do specific to the theme. So, you know, if you go to appearances and theme options, or in this case just Bueno, you can sort of choose a different color or a different this. But really, as it stands now, the last thing I would do, this uncategorized category, I hate that it's called uncategorized. So what I do under posts in categories, I simply just change this. You can quick edit. I remove uncategorized and I put general. I feel like general is much nicer sounding than uncategorized. And so now when I refresh this page, instead of uncategorized at the top, we'll see general. And general is just so much nicer looking. You know, when I click on that, I know I'm going to find sort of general posts versus uncategorized, which I'm just not sure what I'm going to find. So I do change that category to a general or none, or I take that out and I make the default hiking, and I just make sure I categorize things properly. So that is baselining your WordPress install. Really, it comes down to WordPress SEO, Google Analytics, and the WP No category. As I mentioned, there are a ton of other plugins, ton of other you know, tools and functionality that you will get into. But if you follow this guide and set everything up the way I have it, you're not going to shoot yourself in the foot. There's nothing that you can do wrong if you set things up like this. You'll never look back, you know, in a couple months' time and say, "Oh, I wish I should have set that up this way, or I should have done it this way." Everything the way we just set it up now with WordPress SEO, Google Analytics, and no category. If you do this from day one, you'll be in good shape, and the rest you'll be able to add as you go along. The Facebook plugins, you know, the social media plugins, you know, even the spam plugins. If you're getting a lot of spam comments and things like that, you can add sort of new plugins for that. Not going to go into to that in this video. I'm thinking I'll have sort of one more training video eventually, but I really, the most important part at this point in time is to start publishing. Because you have everything you need, you have everything set up to go. Stop worrying about the technical side of things, and let's dive into, you know, making your posts, thinking of the ideas, and getting things published to your new blog. And that's what we'll talk about in the next section, in the Start Publishing section. So awesome, we have everything set up. We'll see you over in the Start Publishing section. Looking forward to helping you get your blog online and up and running. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon.